My brother, salute to the guys. Pasta and lobster. Let's go.
We're going to be talking about interracial dating. So buckle up. I know a lot of people are not going to like this video, but honestly, what I'm going to say in this video is nothing new. A lot of black women have been talking about this, and I would like to contribute to this discussion. I've tried to film this video 3 different times already, so just drop a like for me if you don't mind. If you want to help me keep my sanity and remind me why I'm doing this in the first place. I want to handle this topic with care, and I just hope my message gets across, but if it doesn't to the wrong people, that's not within my control. The girls who get it, and the girls who don't. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So typically when we think of interracial dating within the black community, we think of a black man dating a white woman, or a black man with another woman. They have been the face of interracial dating within the black community for decades. But now we're seeing a shift where black women are now branching outside of the black community when it comes to our love interests. And this is quite significant, but historically, black women have been extremely loyal to black men. And
that's a lie. Major lie. You know, these are the women that ain't been loyal to nobody with themselves. They're not even loyal to their own children. They're not loyal to their family. They're not loyal to the nuclear family, definitely. Not loyal to anybody. So for her to sit here and say that they've been loyal, it's not only a slap in the face, but the biggest lie ever told.
A lot of black women have been alone and haven't found their partners because of this.
Because of all those bastard children that you're having. You know, and I blame your mother mostly, because she ran your daddy off. And that's why you don't respect brothers and you don't respect black men. And that's why you don't have one.
Strict loyalty to black men. And now we're starting to see that black women don't think this way anymore, especially women within Gen Z. And it feels significant because black men have never had an issue dating outside of their race, but black women have been more reluctant to do so. This video was inspired by the pasta.
Why have you been, so you say, reluctant? You haven't been reluctant to do so. It's the fact that other men ain't approaching you.
Lobster trend that's been going around on TikTok. If you don't know, there's a trend where black girls are showing off their white boyfriends to the audio, got a white boy on my roster, he be feeding me pasta and lobster. Got a white boy on my roster.
On a roster. Brothers, did you hear that? On her roster. Meaning more than one. Let's run that back one more time to make sure everybody heard that.
If you don't know, there's a trend where black girls are showing off their white boyfriends to the audio, got a white boy on my roster, he be feeding me pasta and lobster. Got a white boy on my roster, he be feeding me pasta and lobster. Bitches give me a pasta, say like, what's going on, let me take you shopping. I put on my long little piece. And so now black girls are using...
First off, you need to flush those lyrics down the toilet. And you know, second off, black men ain't trying to be on nobody's roster, man. I ain't trying to be on nobody's damn roster. F your roster. You know, all this debauchery. You know, women running around talking about having a roster. Women running around talking about men serving them. These are the women that are least likely to be married, the most likely to be single mothers, the most likely to have been raised without a father, with the cycle of a gynocentric matriarchy, cycle of death and destruction and degeneracy.
The term pasta and lobster to describe these kinds of interracial relationships, black woman, white man, or just pasta and lobster referring to a white boy. girls will be in the comments like, oh, I need to find me a pasta and lobster. Black women for so long have been so loyal to black men. And
That's
we're
a
seeing
lie.
how that loyalty to black men hasn't really been serving us all that much in our happiness and our pursuit of a healthy, loving relationship.
Loyal to
Also, it
nobody.
seems that a lot of these women in these pasta and lobster relationships seem to be very happy and content. And I wanted to talk about that and why that is.
That sound like the Ku Klux Klan national anthem. Now, you know, this funny to me. And these women, at the same time, are the victim queens. You know, always bringing up racism and social justice. At the same time, they say they want pasta and lobster with white zaddy. I don't even need to be playing this music. I ain't trying to get no copyright strike or nothing like that. They got music playing all through there. Let me skip a little bit.
Something is a magician.
Yeah, we don't want to play the music. But, you know, fellas, at this point, man, I don't blame brothers for anything you do, man. Brothers, you got to find a woman. You know, it's women out here that are masculine, women that ain't going to cooperate with you. We got those women. We understand it, that they here, they going to always be here. But you don't got to choose those women. And I think fellas already know, because these are the women that's least likely to get chosen and to get married. You know, whatever woman you find, fellas, that's gonna submit, you don't have to deal with a non-submissive woman. Deal with a woman that will submit, no matter what her race is. You know, so we gotta move like that from this point on.
If you're a black woman on the internet who has been following this stuff, then you'll know that seeing a black woman with a white man isn't necessarily the same thing as seeing a black man with a white woman. So,
that's one of the dumbest arguments that they have. You know, he sounds dumb as a box of rocks with that argument. You know, why does it matter? If we're gonna take it here, why does it matter?
All that being said, let's really get into it, okay? So first and foremost, we have to start with the loyalty, like I mentioned, and how, unfortunately,
you have none.
Loyalty is a losing game as black women. So I'm sure many of you are aware of the fact that...
Who says that? Who says loyalty is a losing game? You know, brothers, black men, American brothers, one of the things that American brothers say that we stand on is loyalty over everything. Meanwhile, you got a woman saying, you got a Keisha saying, loyalty is a losing game for Keishas.
People have been oppressed, especially in America,
Here we go.
for
Oppression.
centuries. And
yeah, we've been oppressed for centuries. We've been oppressed for centuries. But you ready to go suck off white zaddy? Make it make sense.
Oppression has really poisoned the minds of black Americans.
Women.
Black men who have been wounded by white supremacy and haven't addressed those wounds and have internalized.
She sounds dumb, trying to sound smart, talk about wounds and internalized. Man, please, man. Go on and on, deal with white zaddy. Leave us out of, you know, get your pasta and your lobster or your ham sandwich from Wawa. You know, we know what the real is. Ain't no pasta and lobsters. You know, brothers ain't tripping off what you talking about, pasta and lobsters, and what you talking about sound like just a bunch of tricking. Just a bunch of usury. Pasta and lobster, yeah, they feed us pasta and lobster. He on my roster. These the same women the least approach on dating apps. That nobody ain't approaching on dating apps. These the same women complaining online about not being dated properly. You know, Yeah, I mean, the level of delusion is at an all-time high. And brothers, we just like, damn, just leave us out of it, man. We gonna do us. You ain't gotta submit to us. You ain't gotta be feminine. Do you? Do you, and we'll do us. You know, it's a world full of women. And like I said, at this point, man, I don't blame brothers for anything they do, man. It's a whole, you know, the Most High gave us an earth full of women. You know, move with who, moving with you. Don't deal with nobody that's in opposition to you. You know, you don't want nobody that's a thorn in your side. Somebody that's always opposed of you. You know, they the ops. They moving like the ops. Deal with somebody that's dealing with you 100%.
And compassion blind us and stop us from finding true, pure love. The ride or die, the struggle love. That has been very normalized within the black community.
The struggle love? What you mean, like standing in the line at Wawa, waiting on the ham sandwich? That y'all about to split in half, y'all about to go Dutch on the ham sandwich? Ain't it looking like two hobos? Oh, pasta and lobster though, man. When we see, they talk a good one on the internet, and they try to live vicariously through famous people, you know, the swirlers and divestors. They always want to bring up the famous people that's swirling and divesting. Man. All famous people swirling and divesting, and that's what interracial dating. I mean, the whole NFL full of brothers that's into interracial dating and marriages. But you know, the ones that swirlers brag on, you know, they brag on the Eves of the world, and you know, and the likes of those, you know, and the Prince Harry and all of this. But you look at the big picture, it's not a lot of them, and that's not really the reality of the average divestor. Pasta and lobster, this ain't the reality of the average divestor or aka swirler. You know what the reality of the average divestor or swirler is? Standing in line at Wawa waiting on the ham sandwich.
And now black women are realizing, oh, I don't want this. And this isn't what we deserve. I want to be with someone who loves me and treats me well. And we can have all this empathy for black men, but at the end of the day, are they showing the same empathy for us? No, not always. We can make all these excuses, but are they making the same excuses for us? Because black...
So what's the real reason? You saying that brothers ain't showing you love. You saying that you've been loyal, which is a lie. But then you turn around and say, well, you're going looking for real love. You're saying that, then you calling us dusties, and you're saying this and that. I mean, what's your real agenda here?
Women, we face not only racism, but misogyny as well.
You face racism. You face racism, but you a swirler. who is, if you a swirler and you facing racism, who is being racist to you? What are you saying? Black men being racist to you? I don't get it. I know she gonna want to bring up colorism and this and that. You know, the same old arguments, the same reasons why these women are alone. Just being honest. And they raising a race of children, generation after generation alone, raising them in poverty because they don't want to cooperate with a brother. So they raise the child in poverty, put the brother through hell, run them off, and then sit back and claim to be strong and independent. Meanwhile, collecting welfare, Section 8, and only making not even $30,000 a year, but claiming at the same time that they strong and independent and just doing so great. Claim you think 90% of them with six-figure income earners, how they tell it. But all they got to show for it is a couple wigs and weaves and a bunch of children with different last names.
We haven't been given excuses. We face...
I say take them, marry them. White daddy, please marry them.
We have still managed to step up.
Help their statistics go up.
Outperform black men, and I'll get into the
See,
statistics
outperform.
of that with education.
Get into the statistics with education. Outperform, brothers. See, they want to claim. See, they in opposition of us. They're in competition and opposition with brothers. At this point, I don't blame brothers for whatever you do. Get a woman that's not in competition with you, that's not in opposition to you. Don't get a woman that's competing and claiming that, oh, we doing better than them. Nan, nan, and boo, boo. But it's a big lie. When you look at the statistics, they're not earning barely $30,000 a year. The average brother earns anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 a year. So all this talking about they're doing better, and they claiming they're the most educated. Man, I've been to college. I got a college degree. I've been to college with these broads. I sat in math classes and science classes with these broads, and I understand they dumb as a box of rocks. And a bunch of them got meaningless degrees with a bunch of college debt. Kevin Samuels told the absolute truth about these women, and they are angry about it, and that's why they hate them, and they danced on his grave. Oh, this the most educated. You the most in debt and the least educated, because you go for the dumbest reasons and the dumbest degrees that are meaningless.
A bunch of black women with white men, or whatever they call it, pasta lobster. Like, I love it because all the black men like to say, nobody wants you guys. You guys are undesirable. No man wants to deal with y'all's attitudes and y'all's anger issues, and y'all.
We say we don't want to deal with your attitude and your anger problems. We don't say no men. We say the statistics say that no men. Because I mean, like, y'all ain't dealing with us. We ain't dealing with y'all like that. Opposition is competition. So what's stopping other? If y'all so great, what's stopping other men from marrying y'all? That's all we asking. If we so dusty, and y'all don't need us, y'all doing so much better than us, y'all strong and independent, right? But what's stopping the other men on earth? Because the other men on earth, they just want a submissive woman that's gonna do what she is told and bow down to him and what his program is, and who's gonna serve him. So what's stopping other men from marrying sisters if they're doing so well? Black women doing so well, why their marriage rate so low with all men?
Yada yada. But then, and then they'll say y'all have no other options. Nobody else wants y'all. But that's it. On my timeline, literally, every time I go on my TikTok, I see a black woman with a white dude or a Hispanic or whatever.
How many of them are married? Okay, so I know you're delusional. You're gonna say, well, who said they want to get married? Well, fine. If that's what makes you feel good. The fact that you know that I don't care how many of them you see on your timeline with all these other men and on these rosters. The statistics and the facts say that no one is marrying them. So let's be honest about it. If we keep it slow, you know, how many times you get ran through, ain't nothing to brag about. What a woman has to brag about is the type of man she was able to get put a ring on it.
So maybe it's y'all that don't want us. They want us to believe that nobody else wants us and we're just so undesirable.
Black men have been emasculated by white supremacy, and sometimes they project their sensitivity around their masculinity onto black women. Black women.
I ain't been emasculated by nobody, man. And see, this is another thing. These idiots think they know history, and they're not smart at all. They haven't studied anything. They don't understand a thing about history. And just because you sit here and you say, you know who emasculated brothers, if anybody? They single mammies. These generations of single mammies that ran off their daddies so they could suck the government D for a welfare check and some government cheese.
Are faced with the consequences of that, and we're always in this game of trying to be feminine enough for black men.
That's a lie.
So providing for
That's a
them.
lie. They're never in the game of trying to be feminine enough. How many times have you told them we tired of them stank, raggedy wigs and them stank, raggedy weeds that they spend so much money on? You know, it's funny. The women that claim to be so educated, which means that they in so much debt, they in the most debt, college debt that they can't pay for, and that they out here struggling. The same women wasting all their money on some fake hair. They gonna turn around and talk about white supremacy and the standard of beauty.
Same time, and it's very contradictory and confusing.
Listen, a lot of women.
I don't want to hear what Tyler Perry got to say.
Money, all like.
This whole light bill conversation is nothing new. Black women have been discussing their counterparts trying to lowball them for the last 40 years in their novels. Jill Nelson.
Lowball? Talking like a prostitute. Trying to lowball us. Ain't nobody owe you nothing. That's why I say at this point I don't mind. I don't care what brothers do. Get with the woman that's going to submit to you, that's going to bow down to you. Leave these masculine, manly broads alone. They talking about a light bill. No man should be helping a woman with any of her bills. You know what? The man is in charge. It's about my bills. And if you want to deal with me, you submit to me, and you come be a part of what I got going on. Damn your bills. Masculine women. This is not what brothers want. This is not what black men deserve. You got to get a feminine woman that's naturally feminine, that's been raised by a father. You know, if it happens to be a woman outside your race, brothers, do what you got to do.
Tara McMillan, Benilde Little, Gloria Naylor, Pearl Clegg have been talking
You don't
about
deserve to
this
live
since
in
the
misery with a
1980s.
woman that want to
You know,
compete with
these
you and
guys
be your
have been telling me
opposition.
these very clever lines, whining since the end of slavery, pretty much.
That's a
Oh
jab.
my God, I can't possibly do all the things that all the other men do. It's unreasonable.
And why you can't do the things that all the other women do? Like get married before you let several different men impregnate you. What's so hard to do about that? What's so hard about protecting your womb and settling down with a decent man early in life that all other women do?
Well, to expect it because slavery and discrimination and Jim Crow. Yeah,
You know, I don't never hear brothers complaining about slavery and Jim Crow. I always hear swirlers and divestors complaining about it. You know, the hypocrisy is at a hard all-time high. At this point, I don't blame brothers for what they do. Got a childish woman throwing jabs, you know, and it speaks volumes because it's a lot of these types of women out there, and no brother deserves to spend a lifetime of misery with a woman like this, or any women like this. Deal with who's going to submit to you. Don't deal with no ratchet, ghetto, masculine broad. A mammy that's coming to the finish line at the end of the day, looking for the winner. No. Get you a submissive, real lady. A submissive, feminine lady that's naturally feminine and raised by her father. And man, I'm going to get at y'all again, man. We're going to come back at y'all with some more. Hey, it's going to time to step the game up, man. You know, we're going to lay it off for making content for a little while. But we finna get back at it, man. Hey, shout out to all the brothers out there, man. Y'all keep your head up, man. And, hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do out here. You ain't got to conform. You got to do what you got to do. Hey, man, I'll catch y'all next time.